This is 5/8 shelving material. I bought it at my local Lowe's. It's like $3.29 for a 12-inch by 4-foot piece of it. This is a paper template of 1/2 of the shape of my guitar top. I'm going to use it to trace that shape onto this. Basically what this is particle board. Most people use MDF, some people use plywood. Both options were too expensive for me, so I'm going to give this shelving material a try and see how it works out. Now, once I've got this done, what I need to do now is cut out this shape. For that, I'll use a jigsaw and just carefully cut. And I'm cutting pretty close to the line here. And I'll just keep coming on around. It's important to note I'm not pushing this saw. I'm letting it cut the way it should without trying to push it or force it. Just let the tool do the work. And when I start getting close to the end here, I'm going to stop, because this is particle board and I don't want it to tear out. So I'll stop fairly close. And then I'll just turn around and finish the cut from the opposite side. So there's a nice smooth section there, or a nice smooth separation. So now what I need to do, I've taken and sanded that inside area there that I cut with the jigsaw, and now it's just a matter of lining this template now up on each one of these boards, and then marking and cutting out just like I did before. There'll be 3 5/8 sections glued together for each side of the body mold. That's what I'm making here. It needs to be, I need something that will hold the shape of the sides together so that it doesn't move and twist and all kinds of things once I've bent it over a hot pipe, until I get a chance to do what they call close the box, which means brace, join and brace the top and the back of the instrument and glue them to the sides. Until that's done, the sides are not rigid, they're very flexible. And if you don't do something to help them hold their shape, the instrument will end up looking funny. It won't be the proper shape because the sides will move. Now, a lot of people use this, a body mold, to do that. There's also a freestyle or freeform type of building where they basically use a work board shaped similarly to the guitar, and they just put the sides on it and use clamps to clamp it down and hold it in that way. It's all in what you want. So now I'm going to use a bottom bearing router bit, and that first piece that I cut out, which is now my template for the rest, and I'll just route each piece that I've cut out to match that bottom piece, that first piece, so that they're basically mirror images of each other. And you'll see here, I don't really just rely on the clamps, that I'm using to clamp these pieces to the board, to the bench rather, to hold these pieces in place. I will use some screws in strategic locations to make sure that these pieces don't slip while I'm routing them. Then just flip it over. Clamp it down. And route. It's important to understand that a router is probably one of the most dangerous power tools you will ever use. And you need to be really, really careful when you use one of these. You can't do anything in a hurry. You have to pay attention to what's going on. Wear the proper safety gear. And I am wearing one of those paper masks over top of my mouth and my nose, because this is particle board, and the dust from this is really bad for you. You don't want to breathe that in. And I'll just shift the clamps around until I have room to route the rest of it. And I'll do all of these the same way, and then we'll move on to glue up. And we'll just put a nice liberal amount of glue down. And then I'll use the other piece to just spread that glue around. And line everything up. It's really important that you get that right, so that they're lined up really well with each other. And then we'll lay on some more glue. And this is just regular old Titebond original. That's what I'll be building the guitar with. And then I'll just pick me up a nice flat chunk of scrap and spread that glue around. And now for the third piece. And I'll line that up really well. And I'll use a bit longer screws that'll go all the way into that bottom board to make sure these stay in alignment with one another the way they should. And then it's just a matter of clamping this down and waiting for the glue to dry. And once I get this one clamped down, I'll set it aside and do the exact same thing to the other side. And then we will let this dry, and I will see you next time round for part 2. Thanks for watching. God bless you. I'll talk to you later.